This is NRCS Partyline today for your Wednesday. It's March the 10th, 2021. NRCS Partyline brought to you by Wimmer Opticians St. Cloud and Chiropractic Connection of St. Joseph. My name is Brad Melke. Good morning. NRCS Partyline. We've got clouds. Our temp is at 37. The radar is showing like we're on the southern edge of some rain stuff to the north and west. Around Glenwood, west of Sauk Center, Alexandria, it looks like more snow. East of that direction between kind of Sauk Center and here, more rain to the east, a little bit heavier rain north of, North Branch, south of Malacca, Mora, Pine City. It's just precipitation kind of a day expected today, maybe some rain, snow mix, but for right now, clouds here in Albany in 37. We have in studio Dennis Fuchs from the Soil and Water Conservation District. We've got Chris Hogge from the Natural Resources Conservation Service. Dennis and Chris, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to be here.
How are things at the office? What's the latest?
Well, we're still not allowing the public back into the office, but we are taking care of business. And as far as staffing capacity, we are at 25% with the change in administration. We've been getting some different information on how to handle the pandemic. And so right now, or in the past, there was phases. If the number of COVID cases were starting to decrease, we could move into another phase where we could start slowly opening up the office. Now they've kind of removed those phases, right, Chris?
Yeah, we've kind of gone back to basically the 25% staffing, which means we can have about 8 folks in the office at a time. So we're in that phase until basically we're told that can move forward, and that comes from the state office. So right now we are majority telework as far as the staff in the office, and we are still working with producers in the field, getting projects on the ground. It looks like this spring we could have some pretty good implementation opportunities for getting practices done. So if you're looking to do those types of practices, make sure you contact the office, and we can get staff out there to work with you.
Are you doing face-to-face appointments in the office?
No,
Nothing
we are
like
doing
that.
them in the atrium outside of the office
Oh, okay.
suite. But yeah, we do meet with folks, but outside of the office. We're not allowed to have anybody in the office at this time.
Well, you can do all that electronic signing and all that good stuff, right?
Correct. We are, as far as the office is in Stearns, we have pretty much everything digital. We can pretty much do a lot of what we need to do signature-wise just over the internet using email, or we have a program called Box OneSpan. It's kind of like if you've ever purchased a house lately, they send you the documentation and you go in and you initial and it just puts that in there. It's the same kind of deal, and it just allows you to certify all your documents and payments, and we can work from those kind of signatures.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris, you want to talk to the listeners about you're hiring people? What's going on here? This is awesome because we need all the help we can. We've got a lot of farmers out there that want to do some conservation practices, and getting some technical assistance from our team and our partners at NRCS is awesome. And right now you're down a person or two, and there's an opportunity listeners, if you're looking for a job in the conservation business and you got the right credentials, you should be giving Chris a call.
Yeah, we've been given the direct hire authority by we'll call it the national office, OPM.
Direct hire.
Yep, direct hire. It's a little bit different than what we did historically. We've gone through a traditional hiring process, which kind of takes a little bit longer. It takes considerably longer because it is the government. But now we're in a direct hire opportunity, which we can move considerably faster. And if you have an interest in an ag, or if you have a background in ag or an interest in working with the Natural Resources Conservation Service, this is a huge opportunity. It is open now, and it goes to, let me see if I can find that.
So this will expire then, this direct hiring, kind of the way you do things?
Yeah, this will expire on July 15th of 2021.
Okay.
And then we'll go back to the regular hiring. This is an opportunity for the agency to fill the backlog of positions, because we've had a lot of issues attracting folks that are they meet our requirements for the job. You have to have a degree. For a lot of the positions, you have to have a 4-year degree with soils and plants background, so that's why you kind of focus on the ag folks. Mm-hmm. We do have some forestry. We do have some engineering opportunities in Minnesota. this is nationwide, so just because you have an ag background and you don't maybe want to be in the cold, frigid Minnesota and you want to go somewhere that might be a little warmer, there are positions open all across the country. So if you go on to usajobs.gov, you can look and see what those opportunities are. And for those folks who really love Minnesota, there are positions, and I'll just read. There's 23 vacancies open.
Wow.
Now, this is statewide. What about for your office, though?
My office, I have just 2. I have one in
Okay.
Elk River, and I have one in Waite Park.
Okay.
But as far as across the state, we have positions that are open in Aiken, Baudette, Bemidji, Caledonia, Clarkfield, Elk River, Fairmont, Farmington, Hallock, Lakefield, Long Prairie, Madison, Mankato, Marshall, North Branch, Pipestone, Redwood Falls, St. James, Slayton, Wabasha, Wadena, Waite Park, of course, and Wilmer.
Wow.
Those
That's
are
all over the state.
Yeah, they're all over the state. They are, we run our positions on a GS level, and
What does that mean?
grade and scale,
Okay.
and basically you would be hired on as a GS5, or if you have any kind of college degree, you could be a GS9. And a GS5 is kind of the entry-level position, and that would be about $35,000, give or take, dollars. And then if you're a GS9, could be up to about $69,000.
What if you're a radio announcer? Do you have can I qualify or anything? Or
If you have the soils background,
doggone it. Could you teach me, Chris?
I can teach anybody. I've been working with Dennis for about 2 years now, and
Look at how smart I'm getting.
it's been a challenge, but we're working on it.
So what kind of education is required for these positions? Are these soil conservationist positions?
Yeah, the soil con positions requires a 4-year degree, and you have to have a certain number, and I want to say it's 6 credits in soils and 6 credits in plants, and it may be a little different than that, but you have to have your soils and plants in basically in those classes.
And if you have ag background, that's very helpful.
Yep,
but it's not a requirement.
No. We have a number of folks that, like for myself, I came with a fisheries, wildlife biology, and environmental studies background. So I didn't have actual soils when I first was interested in NRCS. And so my first job was actually as a Pheasants Forever employee. And in that first year, I took my soils classes and my plants classes, and then was eligible for working as a soil con. So it is something that you can pick up, but for these, you have to have those credits. And then for a soil con tech, you do not, I don't believe there, and I haven't looked at one of the announcements, that you'd have to look in each one. But I don't believe for a soil con tech you need to have the 4-year degree. And then for a CET, you have to have some sort of an engineering background. And forestry, I think you have to have a 4-year with a forestry background.
Okay.
And those are the 2 positions here in your office?
Yeah, the 2 positions in my office are soil cons.
Okay.
And the one
Soil
in Elk,
conservationist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
and they need to have the 4-year degree with the
Soils.
soils
Let's
and plants.
let's pick up where we left off after our news or weather and markets. Got to take a break for some news information. More from Chris Hogge and Dennis Fuchs here on KASM Radio. It's 9:30. It's news time. SWCD Partyline continues. My name is Brad Melke. Good morning. Dennis Fuchs, Soil and Water Conservation District in studio administrator.
Thank you.
District Conservationist Chris Hogge, Natural Resources Conservation Service. Dennis and Chris. Chris, we left off with you talking about direct hiring. What else do we need to know?
I gave a little bit of description on the requirements. I want to update that because I looked up the basic requirements, education requirements. It does require you to have a soil conservationist or related ag or natural resource disciplines such as agronomy, soil scientist, forestry, agricultural education, or agricultural engineering. The study must have included 30 hours in the natural resources or agricultural field, including at least 12 semester hours in the combination of soils and crops or plant science. Of the 12 semester hours, a minimum of 3 semester hours must have been in soils and 3 semester hours in crops or plant science. Those are the requirements. If anybody has any questions, if they meet those requirements, you can email me a resume, and I can submit those to the state office to have them look at them. It will also be something they review when you do your application. So again, if you have any questions, you can feel free to give me a call anytime at the office. And if you're interested, go to usajobs.gov and look and see about what opportunities are out there for you.
All right, and if you want the office phone number, that's 320-251-7800, extension 3.
And I want to point out to any of the college students that are out there in an ag field, do realize that this doesn't close until July 15th. So you can actually not have graduated from college yet. You can be doing your last semester in college right now. And when you graduate, you can still apply for these positions and still potentially get a job.
So are you doing any internships, or has that been kind of put aside?
Our internships, we usually have a Pathways intern.
Right.
And this year, our Pathways intern was not filled. So, no, I do not have an internship. So that's another opportunity I forgot to mention, that if you're interested in internships, start looking early in the school year, like October, November-ish. Look at USA Jobs. Look for what is called a Pathways internship. And those are opportunities that you can walk out of college right into an NRCS position.
Foot in the door.
It's more than a foot in the door.
Okay.
It is. You are already in the door if you can get a Pathways. You spend 2 summers. You spend your junior year and sophomore year and junior year. And when you graduate, you can walk right into a job.
Nice.
Yeah, that is an awesome opportunity for
an awesome opportunity for new kids.
And if you do the experience and it's not for you, you've got some great experience to put on your resume. So it's just a check it out, Pathways.
Yep, Pathways intern. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, Brad, I'd like to visit with your listeners a little bit about the Pheasants Forever banquet. As most of the listeners probably know, we're in a pandemic, and we had to cancel the banquet that was supposed to occur this past Saturday. And so what we're doing is we've got a 10-gun raffle, so you might be running across people selling those. And if you can support Pheasants Forever and their mission of promoting habitat, and they also get involved with youth education. They're involved with a lot of trap shooting. Their motto is leave no kids indoors. Get the kids outside, explore our resources. And we've got online auction going on right now, and that'll go on until Saturday. So if you'd like to check that out, just go to stearnspf.org. That's the website, or just do a search for Stearns County Pheasants Forever, and you'll see the website. And on that website, you'll be able to click into the online auction. That goes until Saturday, I think it's 8 p.m., and there's a variety of different things you can bid on there. And these funds help pay for the work that they do with habitat. And they have also supported the Stearns SWCD and our habitat specialist folks, our bee and butterfly habitat program, working with landowners to get the habitat out there for bees, butterflies, monarchs. So there's just a variety of stuff that our local chapter helps us with. And we actually had a Minnesota Ag Water Quality Certification signing yesterday. One of our farmers north of St. Cloud was certified in this program. This program recognizes farmers that are doing a great job in protecting our resources, and they get a sign to put at the end of their driveway, and our local Pheasants Forever chapter gives them a hat also. And then, of course, they also get a 12-pack of beer from 3rd Street Brewery, which is just another nice little touch that clean water makes great beer. So I just wanted to share that with our listeners. If you can, support the local chapter of Pheasants Forever. And also wanted to talk a little bit about the walk-in access program. The DNR has a program. It started here, it'll start March 15th and goes until May 14th. And that'll be the Minnesota Walk-in Access Program, which pays private landowners to allow public hunting on their lands. And they can receive $18 per acre enrolled. And the program is expanding to include more counties. Troy Dale is excited to see the program grow. And enrollment in the Walk-in Access Program will be available for landowners in more than 50 Minnesota counties. Since 2011, Walk-in Access has enrolled land parcels 40 acres or larger with high-quality natural cover. The program prefers that land also be enrolled in conservation efforts such as the CRP, also known as the Conservation Reserve Program, or RIM, Reinvest in Minnesota. But that is not required. Hunters must purchase a $3 permit with a hunting license to access enrolled land. Walk-in access parcels are marked with a highly visible sign posted by DNR staff, so the landowner isn't required to put the signage up. That is what DNR staff do. They'll put the signs up. The walk-in access program is a win-win for hunters and landowners. For just a few dollars, hunters have access to nearly 30,000 acres of privately owned land that is enrolled in the program. Participating hunters can access walk-in access land September 1st through May 31st. Hunting laws are enforced by DNR conservation officers. Landowners are not required to purchase additional liability insurance. That's a question we always get. Do I have to purchase more insurance in case a hunter falls and breaks their leg? No. That is covered through the program.
Do they have to show proof that it's a land that's active with hunters from past times? Or?
No.
Okay.
It has to be 40 acres or larger.
Of any land.
Yeah, and the DNR does the final say on it, and our staff also helps with the enrollment process. So they have to have the right cover. I mean, if you're going to be putting a soybean field in, it probably wouldn't be a septic.
Even if they've never had hunters before?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So landowners can sign up for the program at their local SWCD office, and that would be Jason Selvog and Ryan Rothstein in our office. They'll be working with you, and I gave you the telephone number earlier. That's 320-251-7800, extension 3. Now, I just want to hit the bullets again, because a lot of people are going to call, hey, will you say $18? Wow, I got some spots. Well, let me hit some bullets here so that we don't have a lot of people that aren't eligible to participate. You must have at least 40 acres in size, and it's got to be contiguous with another walk-in access parcel that is 40 acres or more in size. Priority is given to lands enrolled in the CRP or RIM programs. Lands not enrolled in the conservation program may be eligible if quality natural cover exists and is maintained by the landowner. So a soybean or cornfield, it would not work for this. Lands within 500 feet of a home or livestock cannot be enrolled unless they are occupied by the cooperator and his or her livestock. The enrolled parcel must be accessible from a public road. The habitat must be maintained through the enrollment period. And landowners or the state may terminate the contract at any time, effective 30 days after written notice of termination is received. So it's a great opportunity if you got a larger chunk of land that's in CRP or RIM and you don't mind the public accessing that to hunt. And it's just a great way to get more people out and about, kind of building on that, leave no kid indoors, get outside and enjoy the great things that we have here in central Minnesota.
So call your office or go online to apply?
Call our office.
Okay.
Yep, and you can get more information on our website, which is just Google Stearns County SWCD, and it'll pop up.
How long does the process take to be approved?
Not very long.
Okay.
It's a fairly expedited process, and it works very well. So that's all I wanted to cover on that. And then we wanted to talk just...
I have a quick question for you, Dennis. Do those folks have to be part of the farm program to participate in the walk-in access?
But they get privilege if they do, right?
Right. Yep. They're you do not
first
have
dibs.
To be. Yeah, first dibs. But let's say you're in Avon Hills and you've got 40 acres of forest and you're not part of CRP or RIM, and it would be great for turkey hunting or other types of or deer hunting, and you want to be part of this walk-in access program, you check it out, as long as it's 40 acres or more.
Okay.
And
cool.
you got access from a public road. So it's just a nice opportunity for the landowner to get compensated a little bit for letting the public come on to their property.
So basically anybody could do this if they had the 40 acres plus.
Yeah, the right habitat.
Mm-hmm.
Contiguous.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks. Good questions,
that's
guys.
a big word.
Appreciate
Okay,
it.
all right.
So I wanted to have Chris talk a little bit. We were out at a farmer's place yesterday, and just questions about coordinating the EQIP sign up and things they want to address using that program versus the Conservation Stewardship Program, CSP, and how do we better do this. And I was hoping that we'd have some more information available from Chris on the CSP with the sign up and what's it looking like for this next sign up period. Chris, did you get any additional information from up above?
We have the CSP Classic sign up going on right now. It will close on March 26th of this month, and we have, I think, in the office we have just a little over 40 or 50 applications. So we could have some more applications of folks who are interested in it. We also have a 2022 re-enrollment process. So those folks who are coming out of CSP this year have an opportunity to re-enroll for the next sign-up. They would have to accept another enhancement or apply for another enhancement for their farming operation. And then they would be eligible also for the 2022 sign-up. So you were kind of asking earlier today, what's the difference? I kind of look at CSP as a full farm plan, kind of like ag water quality certification type of a process. We go out there and we look at your whole farming operation. We kind of assess the whole thing, and it kind of is something where you can work on your cropland, your forestry, your pasture. You can take all three of those and you can bundle them all up, and you can kind of put enhancements on each one, and you can get paid for those. So they can range from most of the contracts are $100,000 for 5 years, but you can max them out at $200,000 in 5 years. I think there's a $40,000 maximum per year for each of the years that you're in the contract. And that's kind of how I see CSP, is basically the whole farm type planning operation. You're looking at the whole thing to see where you can put enhancements. And I know folks are like, what enhancements do they have? I know there's been a lot of folks who have been in the CSP up to this date. They have basically done kind of what I call the big 4 or 5, and it's nutrient and pest management, cover crops, pollinator habitat, and then you have some sort of a no-till type, strip-till, soil health type of approach. Those are kind of the ones that are the big ones that folks will go with. There's some off ones like some pasture stuff where you can harvest in a manner that allows wildlife to escape. I mean, that used to be one. So there's a lot of different enhancements. I think there's probably over 100 different enhancements that producers can utilize. And so, again, if you're interested, something that you can just talk with staff. We have wonderful staff in the office that are very knowledgeable about CSP and if it's going to fit your farming operation and how it's going to fit your farming operation, and kind of help you navigate through the government programs. And I'm not going to say that it's going to be easy, because it's never easy. Ag water quality certification isn't easy. It takes time, and it takes a lot of back and forth with staff to make sure we get a good plan and we get a good idea of what you're doing and how you're doing what you're doing and the effects of what you're doing, so we can develop the enhancements and add the enhancements that's going to benefit your farming operation. We don't want to, give you like wildlife friendly fence when you don't have any cattle. That doesn't make any sense. We want to give you stuff that you're going to utilize and that you're going to benefit from. I want to see producers who are interested in experimenting with practices they may not have ever done before, such as like
Precision conservation.
Precision ag type of stuff. Yeah, like when you're doing a split application of your fertilizer. Some people aren't doing that. And if you're not doing it, but you want to try it, I want to try it. It's something that I know would be successful, but I'm scared. I don't want to go out there because I don't know if I'm going to get a benefit. It's going to cost me money. Those kind of people we need to be talking to, because you get 5 years to experiment with that practice, your precision ag practices, or you want to do cover crop and you're like, oh, I really want to do it, but I'm scared. I don't want. This gives you 5 years to experiment. And then after 5 years, if you don't like it, you can just say, nope, not going to do that anymore. That was a disaster. But we would work with you to help you with getting those enhancements planned, working you through those, helping you with if it was cover crops or nutrient management. We'd help you get that stuff kind of set up and planned for how you're going to apply your cover crops. What cover crops are you going to use? What are the benefits of the cover crops you're using? So that's kind of the way I see CSP. Okay.
So, just want to follow up a little bit, Chris. You mentioned cover crops, and I was visiting with a farmer yesterday that farms between St. Martin and Paynesville, and he was saying that he has not seen this much soil in the ditches ever. And I noticed that too, driving around, that the amount of soil that has been deposited in our ditches this past winter is a darn shame. And we're letting our topsoil go away, and we're losing productivity and sending this down into our rivers and lakes and ultimately into the Gulf of Mexico for more problems. So what we really need to do is take a look at cover crops and crop residue management. And we noticed that this winter when we drove around, that where we had very little crop residue and excessive tillage, there was a tremendous amount of soil being deposited in these road ditches and ditches for moving water. And we're lucky that the forecast that Brad was talking about earlier doesn't include a intensive thunderstorm where we can get an inch of rain in an hour, because where that topsoil would go, right into the Sauk River chain of lakes. And then we wonder why the water's turning green. So we really can make some improvement out there. And cover crops, if you look around and drive around the county at all, you'll see a couple of areas where what is that growing out there? It's kind of turning green already. I mean, the snow melted and you see green. Well, it's probably cereal rye coming up. And that is going to hold that soil and keep these nutrients and sediment from entering our surface waters, which is so important. And it's not like we don't have programs available. Chris has talked about CSP. We got the EQIP program, and we've got a multitude of other programs that we've been working and bringing into this county. So please give our staff a call and check it out. And now's the time to do it when you got time on your hands.
Are you still coming up with new concepts for cover crops to be used, or blends, or?
Well, a lot of that technology and agronomics has been. There's a lot of information out there. So the opportunity for success is much greater now than it was in the past. And a lot of our dairy farmers are taking like corn silage off, getting out there with cereal rye, getting that out there, injecting their manure, and then coming back in the spring, taking a forage crop off of that cereal rye and using that for their livestock, and then planting soybeans, the first week of June. They use a little bit of yield on the soybeans, but they get that forage crop early. And so they're really seeing some value in having that cover crop, and plus they're keeping their soil in place and they're not losing that soil productivity. So it's just something that when I'm driving around seeing our topsoil, which is your bottom dollar, your money, you're just letting it fly right out the bank when that soil is moving off your fields. That is so important that we keep that where it belongs.
What about that cover crop you were talking about, and then you associated with using it for beer or whatever? The
Kernza?
Yes.
That's a perennial crop that is also, because it's perennial, you're not doing any tillage. Once you get it established, you leave it there like alfalfa, and it really works well. And that's got a rooting depth down past 10 feet. So it sequesters a lot of the nitrates and nutrients that may enter into our groundwater. And then we actually are working with a farmer near Cold Spring that's part of the drinking water supply management area to minimize the amount of nitrates going into the drinking water supply for all the residents in Cold Spring and the brewery.
Okay.
So that's another alternative crop. We're still building information on that, and the markets are growing. The amount of acres in Kernza is increasing every year, so it's actually got enough product out there. So if General Mills wanted to have a Kernza cereal, they're going to need X amount of acres, X amount of kerns every year, and we're getting closer every year.
You foresee that as a possibility.
Oh, yeah.
You're not just talking like...
No, actually, General Mills had a Kernza cereal, but they didn't have enough product, Kernza seed, to make the cereal, which tasted a lot like Wheaties, and very, very good cereal. And it just takes a lot of research and development to get enough acres into Kernza.
Kernza Krispies.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, gotcha.
So what were you going to say, Chris? I know
I was just going to say, if folks are interested in cover crops, there is so many different varieties and blends that we can help plan. We just need to know what is your goal. If your goal is just to cover it in the fall and you want to be able to farm it the next spring, we have winter kill crops or cover crops that we can utilize. If you're looking for pulling forage off in the spring, we have cover crops that we can put that will overwinter well, and you'll be able to put those into some sort of forage that you can feed through animals. There's a lot of folks who are starting to look at the benefits of using that cover crop as a forage or as part of your livestock operation. So if anybody's interested in it, again, please call the office. We have many different opportunities for funding, and some of those fundings are kind of are lucrative enough that it benefits and protects you while you're experimenting with how to utilize these cover crops.
Remind us of that phone number once again, Chris.
I don't know the phone number.
Let me help you out.
Dennis.
It's 320-251-7800, extension 3.
I have a cell phone. I just hit the cell phone. It says Stearns County office.
You
I
don't
just
call
click
yourself typically.
I do, but
you
I
do
just
sometimes.
I just call it with the cell phone. It just has Stearns County.
This is their word. Click.
Yes. It doesn't give me a number. You ask my wife, she knows all the numbers.
Gotcha.
I don't.
All right. Dennis Fuchs, Soil and Water Conservation District Administrator, Chris Hogge, District Conservationist, Natural Resources Conservation Service. Chris, Dennis, thank you.
Yes, and we'll
Thank
see
you.
Friday, April 30th. We'll be back on the air again. So if you got any questions, save it for April 30th. We'll be back on air.
Thank you. Minute past 10 o'clock, we're going to have some news coming up.